Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode we're going to be checking out a piece by the career 3D artist known as Christoph Gromer. This episode we're going to be talking about crystalline magic, we're going to talk about the impact of texture, and we're also going to talk about the immense importance of fungi. So let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, really met with a lone, singular subject, a mushroom set in center here. The first impression, you're likely to be caught as this brilliant colors at hand just catch the eye instantly. And there's really no doubt, of course, our subject's placement in center, it's going to catch the eye right. It feels like everything revolves around that main subject. And of course, the lack of elements within this work is just going to emphasize the visual impact of form here. We also see this effect aided by such a brilliant light on dark contrast. Of course, that dark background, the perfect backing to allow that accent. So in the realm of texture, we really see this unique effect, right? You have this kind of rigid, yet translucent and smooth surface of our mushroom here. It looks like crystals or glass of some kind. The impact this is very, very important. Of course, you see the impact of this is quite interesting, right? You have this rigid, yet it's simultaneously smooth, and it's also translucent as well. So you have an incredible amount of color aside from that. And so in the realm of color, of course, you have this incredibly diverse color palette, really every color of the spectrum right before us here. So the result of this is an incredible dynamism, as well as an immense amount of visual energy. Of course, if you have an incredible amount of different colors, it's going to feel quite energetic in that result. And so with this in mind, there's really no doubt that light drives the work at hand here. You know, one of the most defining elements of this piece as you walk away is going to be that sense of light, right? This is incredibly dynamic, it is incredibly energetic, and it's always going to catch the eye. It's going to burn into memory instantly. And so what you'll see here, of course, the crystalline nature of our subject, impossible to miss, right? It is translucent, so it's kind of possessed by this energy as a result of light. But aside from that, you'll see this kind of magic as a result of that. It is a catalyst of light. So any light that kind of hits this crystalline structure is going to be intensified, right? I believe that's also why we wear diamonds, we wear crystals and gemstones of all kinds, right? You put it up to the light, and of course we see the light as divine or sacred. So any crystal or object that can intensify light is going to feel divine or sacred as well. I think that's a little bit of that sense of magic that we're working with here. And so this is a fungi, so this is kind of the fruiting body of certain types of fungi known as a mushroom. So a mushroom is incredibly iconic. You'll likely notice it instantly. This is actually a motion media piece, so it's kind of vertically revolving and hovering in space instantly. Really nice work here. And so what you'll see, of course, the mushroom, absolutely iconic. You're not going to miss it. And what's interesting about fungi is they actually predated plants as the first kind of living organisms to make a landfall. So pioneer species of the greatest kind, right? You know, for decades, centuries, and even millennia at this point, the mushroom and of course fungi in general have been used in many different medicinal purposes, whether modern antibiotics all the way to kind of ritualistic communal ceremonies. So there's so many different things you could truly point to when it comes to fungi. So with that in mind, you know, we have to recognize kind of the divine capability of the mushroom or fungi and their healing capabilities. So we really have to note that here and always need to remember that. And so what's incredibly interesting is we are actually more closely related to fungi than any other of the main kingdoms, right? And that's exactly why we can use them in so many medicinal purposes, right? We share a lot of different qualities with that. It's why penicillin works, you know, so many different things you could point to there. So they are truly our kind of closest natural relative. They even breathe like us as well. Maybe not exactly like us, but they do breathe, which is incredibly interesting, right? So I'm going to bring in here, you know, have some ideas of maybe what type of mushroom is. Maybe we're going to go a bit deeper in that here in a second so we can learn real quick, and then we're going to head out of here. Alright, so I brought two different graphics in here to see what kind of mushroom we're working with. Maybe we can learn what this is here. Of course, you see the incredible diverse quality of so many different mushrooms, so many different shapes, so many different colors, textures, a lot of different things you could point to here. But when we're looking at a work like this, the thing that I kind of go towards, it's going to be something like a brown cap, a toadstool, a shiitake, maybe even an amanita, but we see a much more curved top rather than kind of the pointed there. So that's kind of what I lean towards. We look over here, for example, shiitake, they have much more, instead of course, drawings, we have photographs here. So shiitake, maybe a portobello, something like that. It's hard to say exactly what we're looking at here, but I wanted to bring these references here. Maybe y'all know exactly what we're looking at. I'm not too familiar with mushrooms, but all in all, I wanted to bring these in here. So we take a look a bit deeper at that. If I had to give a guess, I'd say shiitake or toadstool. Maybe shiitake. It's hard to say for sure, though. So yeah, really interesting. I absolutely love fungi, incredibly important, whether it's cooking, whether it's those medicinal purposes we talked about, a lot of different things you could point to when it comes to fungi. And so like I said, this is a motion media work, so it is going to be kind of animated within that 3D program. That program is going to be Cinema 4D, so if you are a 3D artist, maybe working in Blender, you're going to try a different program, check out Cinema 4D for sure. And one final thing I wanted to say, the sacred nature, right? We are nature in so many different ways, so we cannot kind of dismiss things like mushrooms or fungi without dismissing ourselves as well, right? We are connected in so many different ways there. So yeah, like I said, 3D animation, that does make this a mixed media work. Of course, you create that digital rendering, that's one thing. Then you animate that, that's another. So incredible 3D animation here. I actually had some more still screenshots of that kind of mixed media work there. So you can see just kind of vertically hovering and rotating endlessly. We certainly see that. Absolutely love the crystalline nature of this work. So many different things we pointed on today. If y'all did enjoy this work, go check out the original artist, Christoph Gromer. Like I said, career 3D artist. I believe it actually lives in Germany. So many different things in his portfolio if y'all want to go check that out. We talked about so many different things today. Sacred nature, we talked about fungi, we talked about the pioneer species, kind of crystals as catalysts of light, texture, color, so many different things we really point out today. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Like I said, if y'all did, go check out the original artist. Always doing some really good stuff. My name is Apollo, this was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.